welcome back to Harmon Garage. I'm Aaron. Today we are working on the 73 that I showed you in another video, and I'm gonna name this one Longstep just to keep them differentiated from other projects. The reason I'm calling it Longstep is because it's actually a long bed step side, which you don't see very often. Makes it a little bit cooler. So Longstep's gonna be this one. I already started working on it. I showed you in the other video, it had that fabricated 9-inch in it. And I got to looking around, and fabricated 9-inch was 4 inches shorter than the stock rear end. And it was set up for a G-body and car. And the axles they had for it were way too short and just wasn't going to work out. So I talked to the owner of the truck. He still had the original 12 volt from the truck laying around, and I decided that was just going to be a better route to go. So I'm tearing it all down, or I tore it all down, cleaning it up to paint it. I'm going to freshen it up, put in all new seals, all new brakes. I checked out all the bearings, they look good, and he wants it to be posi, so I'm going to put a mechanical locker in there, and I'll show you guys how to do all that. So here's the original 12 volt from the truck. They had cut the shock mounts off of it to put on the other rear end, so I welded those back on, cleaned all the dirt and grease off of it, sanded it down pretty clean and smooth. I still got to clean it up a little bit more, and then I'm going to go ahead and shoot a coat of gloss black paint on it, clean it all up, and then I'll get back to the video with you and I'll show you how we freshen up a rear end. All right, well, it's been a while since I started filming this video doing the rear end. Been waiting on parts. Some of you might realize or know, if you do a lot of this stuff, that it hasn't been real easy to get parts lately. So I've been trying to be patient, waiting, getting parts in. I've had a few other jobs in the shop. I got this 87 short bed here. I just pulled this motor out and stuck a new motor in and got it all fired up and running, and it's about ready to go home. And I've cleaned up and painted all the pieces for this rear end. Put new axle seals in it. Checked all the axle bearings, they're all good. Put a new pinion seal in it. Thoroughly cleaned it, axle tubes, gear, pinion, ring gear, cleaned it all. Inspected it really good. It doesn't have hardly any wear on it. It's a 340 gear, which is going to work out good with the Turbo 400. Should be able to cruise a little better. So the next thing I got to do is we got a Powertrax locker for it. So this is a mechanical, they call it a mechanical locker. If you're not in the throttle, it's not under power, it freewheels. And when you apply power to it, it locks both sides in. The guy that owns the truck really wanted it to be posi, and aside from going out and buying a full posi unit and everything else, this was the best route I found to go. So it's going to be kind of hard to see what I'm doing putting this locker in. If anybody's interested in this kind of locker, I'll put all the information on it in the description. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this locker in real quick, and then I'll get back with you guys. So I got the locker all installed in here. The instructions for the locker tell you to put grease in it, in these grooves here where the springs and stuff go. I don't like putting grease in anything that takes oil, because it never pushes the grease out and lets the oil in, and then the grease collects all the gunk and dirt and everything. So what I'm going to do before I seal it up, I'm just going to go ahead and put a little bit of oil, gear oil, on those springs and stuff, so I know they're lubricated. Let it run in there a little bit before I I'll just get all 4 of those locking pins. It's hard to film putting that in, that's why I didn't do it, because you got to get in there with all those pieces and you got your hands in the way and you wouldn't be able to see what I was doing anyways. The instructions that come with it are very good. Probably some of the best instructions I've used. It tells you everything step by step, and this is one of the easiest lockers I've ever installed. It went right in, took maybe 10-15 minutes to get it all together. So that's why I didn't film it. Just would have just seen my hands moving around and really nothing else, so it wouldn't have done much good. But I've never used one of these lockers before on a vehicle, so I don't know how it performs, but I know the installation was by far the easiest one I've done, and the instructions were really good. So now I'm just gonna seal this up. I actually prefer to use the factory gaskets on these, but small town that I live in now, it's not real easy to get parts, and they didn't have one and I couldn't get one without driving a ways, so silicone will work just as good. So, put that on, get it lined up. I'll just go ahead and stick all the bolts in, tighten them down. Okay, I'm leaving that hole open because that's where my bracket for my brake hose is going to go. So when we get ready to install that, I'll mount that. And that's it for the gear set and the cover. We'll move on and start doing the next steps I'm going to do, just put it in. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is install the new wheel cylinders. I'm not going to do the brakes until I get it on the truck because it's easier with it in that orientation for me to do the brakes. But I'm going to go ahead and put the wheel cylinders on because I'm going to run the new brake lines that go from the distribution hose out to the wheels, because they'll be easier to do before I put it in the truck. So I'm going to go ahead and mount these and then make the brake hoses, and then we're pretty much ready to stab it in the truck. And then once we stab it in the truck, I'll go ahead and do the brakes on it. So I'm just going to throw this one in quick. With that installed, I'll go ahead and do the same thing on the other side, and we'll make up some brake lines. Okay, I got my brake lines all made up. It's a little trick I kind of acquired when you're bending your lines to match your old lines. Once you get the first 2 or 3 bends in, you can start taking cable ties and using it to hold it in place. and it makes it a lot easier to bend it. So now I got both my lines bent up here. I got to cut both ends off and then go ahead and reflare them, and then we'll throw those on, and then I think the rear end's going to be ready to stick in the truck. I'll go ahead and get this done real quick, and then we'll go and throw it in. Okay, so we got it all buttoned up. Got all the brake lines done. They don't look great, but they don't look terrible. And for as much of them as you're going to see under the truck, they look great. So we're getting ready to throw the rear end in the truck. We have a 2-inch lift block kit. This truck I may have mentioned before, I may not have, is a 2-wheel drive, but it's going to get essentially a 4 in the front and 2 in the rear. There will be another video coming up soon with the how to lift the front end. But we're going to go ahead and slap this rear end in with the blocks, and then we can get started on the brakes and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and set up a camera and point it over here, and I'll throw the rear end in real quick. Okay, I got the rear end over here underneath the truck now. I'm going to go ahead and set my lift blocks in place on both sides. And then I got my dad here helping me out today. He's going to jack it up so I can get it squared up and in place before I put the U-bolts on. Where are you at on that spring? Does it need to come your way for it to line up? Huh?
It goes right here.
Yes.
Yeah, right there's right about the middle.
Alright, we got it sitting where it needs to be. Go ahead and get our U-bolts that came with our lift kit out.
Nice question. Yeah. It's supposed to stick out this far on this side. It's flush on that side and this side's sticking out.
Yeah, that spring probably needs to come over a little bit.
Just ask him, I just noticed they want the same.
Alright, I got this side pretty much set up. I'm going to leave it loose so I can make sure I got the other side pretty well lined up. Then once I get them both started, then we'll go ahead and tighten them down. We'll put the other side on, we'll get back with you. Okay, I got it all set up there. I'm going to go ahead and start tightening these down, drawing it up evenly, and then we'll torque them all, and then that'll be it for this. Go ahead and pull that jack out so it'll go low enough. Alright, rear end's all done. It's in, mounted up in the truck. Going to I'll do the brakes and hook up the brake line and stuff like that, put shocks on it. And when I do another video, I'll update on that and show you guys it's done. But been hard getting parts for stuff, so it's taken a while to get all this stuff done. So I need to do better about getting more videos out, which I'm gonna work on here. But that's gonna do it for this video. Thank y'all for watching, subscribing. Please comment, share, like, all the above. So y'all have a good one, and we'll see you next time.